Okay, so now we're going to move into the actual drawers over here. So I'm just going to slide this first drawer all the way out. And this is the largest drawer in my organizer here. So I'm just going to set this here and show you guys what I got. This is the newest palette in my collection. This is the Tartelette palette. Love the packaging on this palette, even though it does give you that, even though it does leave like the fingerprints on it. First of all, the mirror in here takes up, you see the size of this? The mirror is the entire part of the top. So freaking love that. That mirror is bomb, and so are the eyeshadows. It is an old matte eyeshadow palette, and I love matte eyeshadows, and these were just so blendable. I just definitely had to go ahead and get the second part, the second palette that came out. They have a Tartelette in Bloom, I think it's called. So I did order that. So I will do a separate video on that if you guys are interested. Let me know if you want to see like swatches of both of the Tartelette palettes in one video, or like a comparison of the two, or anything. Just let me know down in the comments below if you want to see that. But I freaking love that eyeshadow palette. And this is my MAC eyeshadow palette, and I still haven't added any new shades to this palette. So this was MAC, you know, when I first got into makeup, everybody was like, MAC eyeshadows are the bomb, MAC eyeshadows this, that, and the third. So I had started making my own palettes for the MAC eyeshadows. I have a separate video on this if you guys want to see swatches of these shadows and know the names of them, because I don't know off the top of my head. I know this one is Rice Paper, that one is Expensive Pink, this one is Saddle, this one was like my favorite all-time transition shade, which I can't think of the name right now. That one is Soft Brown. Like I said, I'll leave the video link down below if you guys are interested in knowing more about that, my custom made palette that I have. Next eyeshadow palette in here. This is actually the only Urban Decay Naked palette that I have, and it is the Naked 3 palette. The mirror is the same length as the palette itself, and this one has those beautiful rose gold shades here. So pretty. I freaking love this. So I used to use Buzz a lot more for the inner tear duct corner. I love the shade Limit for my crease. No, I'm talking about Dust. Dust was actually the color that I would use for my inner tear duct corner. That was the one that was crumbly. Buzz I really liked a lot. I used to use it a lot for my lid. I like the shimmery colors more for my lid, because you guys know I have hooded eyelids, so if you add shimmer to it, it actually brings light to it. So for the hood, I basically just tend to use the matte eyeshadows for that. But yeah, I freaking love that palette. Next palette in here is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar, and I'll go ahead and pull that out the box so you guys can see it. Now that's one thing about this palette. I don't know if I'll put it on here so you guys can see. But the only way that you know the shades of the eyeshadow is if you keep this little plastic insert here. So I kept that in the box for that reason. But yeah, that's what the eyeshadow palette looks like from Too Faced. Really pretty eyeshadow palette. I was very fond of this palette when I first got it as well. I won't say that it's so pigmented though for women of color. Like, that's why I stopped using it so much, because I have so many different palettes. It was like this one, it didn't make sense because I just had to do so much work to build up the colors. But it smells like chocolate. It's a chocolate bar, so it smells like chocolate. Really good palette, but like I said, you just have to work a little harder to build those shades up. Next two palettes are here are from the drugstore. This is the L'Oreal La Palette Nude 1 and then La Nude 2. I like these palettes a lot, actually, especially for them to be from the drugstore. I really like those palettes. And the La Palette Nude 1 is more of a neutral palette. You guys, like I said, I'm a neutral girl, so I was here for it. And the second one has more of those plum colors. And look, I still have the dual-sided eyeshadow brush that came along with that palette. This one has a sponge tip on one side, and then just like you're blending, not really blending, well, yeah, it's more like that kind of a small version of, like, I won't say 217 status, but you guys know what I mean, right? So yeah, still nude, more on the plummy side, but still nude, you know what I mean? So the L'Oreal palettes, definitely, if you guys are looking for some drugstore palettes, I definitely recommend these L'Oreal nude palettes because they were pretty good. Next two palettes are here are my beloved Lorac Pro. This is the Lorac Pro 1 and the Lorac Pro 2. You can tell the difference because of the colors of the palettes, but the Lorac Pro 1 was my all-time favorite. Again, it has a mirror on one side of the palette, and on this side you have the top row was all matte shades, and then the bottom row is all shimmer shades, so you get a good variety and you are able to produce a complete eyeshadow look with using one palette, which is why I freaking love this palette. This was my go-to palette for a long time, so I haven't played around in it in a while actually, but like I said, I'll be doing some shop my stashes, so we'll definitely be making use out of all these palettes. And this is what the Lorac Pro 2 looks like. This one, I love that purple shade, I love that blue shade that's here. And again, same concept, you have all your mattes on the top and then you have all your shimmers on the bottom. That silver color was really nice, that jade, everything. Rose, because it has the little asterisk at the top, rose. Yeah, that was, I freaking love the Lorac Pro shadows. And I don't have any of the Mega Pros because remember, it was like a big deal with getting the, my hands are getting dirty from this stuff. It was a big deal getting those Mega Pro palettes, and then now this one here, Ulta, that came out during the holidays, it seems like they made too many. It's like you just see sales on them all the time. The next palette in here, again, beloved, I freaking love this palette, and I think I have a look on it. Anything that I have eyeshadow looks or anything like that, I'll leave that link down below as well. But this one is the Kat Von D Shade and Night Eye palette. Also comes with a nice size mirror, and then those are the shades there. Freaking love this eyeshadow. Nice neutral palette. You guys know I'm all here for the neutrals. Love this eyeshadow palette, and it is all matte as well. I have another Kat Von D eyeshadow palette. This one is the Chrysalis eyeshadow palette. This is what that eyeshadow palette looks like. Has those beautiful purples over here, then the blues. Really, really pretty eyeshadow palette. And I didn't play a lot in this one too. I just dabbled and dabbled in it. But we will be shopping the stash shortly. This one hurts just to look at it because I dropped it. And oh my gosh, it broke on me. So I don't even want to open it up for you guys. But this one is the Urban Decay Electric palette. And I will open it so you guys can see. And it's still just a hot ass mess. What I'll do is I'm not going to open it because then some of the shadows will fall. But anytime I want that beautiful pop of color, this is the eyeshadow palette that I go to. You guys know I'm a fan of that under eye pop of color kind of thing. So I would definitely reach for the electric palette for that reason. And like I said, I'll be inserting a clip so you guys can check that one out. And there are 5 eyeshadow palettes in here, and they all come from the company Anastasia Beverly Hills. Love her eyeshadows. So let's get into it. The first Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palette here. It doesn't even have the name on it, and I don't remember. This is the Catwalk. You see the print here. It's the tiger print, so it's the Catwalk palette. Love this palette as well. This one has a lot of shimmery colors, and there's some mattes in there as well. Very pretty eyeshadow palette. The next one in my palette, this was the one that I reached for. Like, I still reach for this one. I've been using this one lately, as a matter of fact. And I will tell you exactly why. This one actually has that slide out case kind of thing. So that's what the palette looks like. And then you see these 2 colors here, Orange Soda and Sienna. If I mix those 2 together, it makes the bomb transition color for me. I freaking love this palette for those reasons. Also for Moss, I love that eyeshadow. So Anastasia Beverly Hills shadows, you really, really can't go wrong with Anastasia. If you're in Sephora and you see any kind of Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palette, or Ulta, anywhere where they sell makeup that you buy, definitely check out Anastasia. Now I'm a little ashamed to say I have never used this eyeshadow palette. I never had it for some months now. This is the Artist palette from Anastasia, and trust me, I will be using it because my intentions for that yellow, for this yellow shade right here, it's called Fresh. I love the name of it as well. I'm definitely going to do a look using this palette. Anaconda up there, that beautiful green sparkly color. Punch Fuchsia, Blue Velvet, Buttery. Buttery's actually in another palette that I'm about to show you guys, but love that palette. I can't wait to actually start using this palette. Colors look freaking amazing. And like I said, you can't go wrong with Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I definitely got it before it went off the market. Next up, we have the Shadow Couture World Travelers palette. And that's what the packaging looks like on that one. And this is the inside of that palette. Another palette that I absolutely freaking love. Morocco, Fudge, Intense Glaze, Azure, Pink Champagne. Yo, I'm telling you, your Anastasia knows how to do some eyeshadow palettes. So that's what that one looks like. And the last palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills is the Self-Made palette. I recently did a collaboration video with my girl, Miss Sweet Shar. So definitely check that out. I'll leave that link. And you can check out the card right there above my head if you want to see a video. And Chloe got her hands into this one. So look what she did to my palette, y'all. Like, she kind of ruined it. But, you know, I'm still be using it. Love this palette. Of course, the only thing about this palette is that it doesn't have the transition colors that I tend to reach for. So I would have to actually pull from a different, from other eyeshadows that I have. But it's all good because this also has Pink Champagne, and Buttery is the shade that I just told you that was in that other palette. Deep Purple. This has got to be the best purple shade for us ever. This one is still on the market, so if you guys come across this palette, definitely pick it up.